Hello and welcome everyone to today's webinar with the title Next Generation Antivirus from Avira. We are very happy to welcome you here today, that you're joining us and taking the opportunity to always stay up to date about any news from Avira. So first of all, I would like to inform you that you as the participants are all set on mute during the entire session, meaning that you can obviously hear us, but we cannot hear you. So if you have any questions, just click on the right-hand side on the question tab, type in your question, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. So first of all, who's guiding you through today's webinar? With me, I have today Michael Moll, Technical Project Manager here at Avira, and Michael will be sharing some technical insights with us with regards to current trends on the malware market, types, and what kind of threats are actually or your customers actually have to cope with. So Michael, I hope that everything is working on your side, that you can hear me and we can hear you.
Thanks, Katharina. I could hear you well. Hope the same also applies for our customers. Also, warm welcome from my side. I will also take care for the questions part today during the webinar. So whenever you have questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to enter your questions, comments into the questions box, and I will answer you also during the webinar. So feel free to type in your questions in there. One more thing also in terms of issues we might have, in case you can't see anything, a slide is stopping, or you can't hear us, just let us know by typing in something into the questions box. That would be very helpful. So that's from my side. Back to you, Katharina.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael. So to start, I would just quickly like to check whether the audio works for all of our participants, and that's why I'm going to start a quick poll now. Where I would like to ask you to please just quickly let us know whether you can hear us, and this is just to make sure that we have everyone on board here now. So it would be great if you could just quickly click yes or no. Okay, so that looks good. I think we have everyone on board. As Michael already mentioned, in case there are any issues, just let us know, and everything should work then. So what is going to be covered in today's webinars? As already mentioned, first of all, we are going to take a look at current trends and types regarding the malware market, what kind of threats are actually your customers have to cope with. What do we do here at Avira to protect you and your customers? How do we use different scan engines? What are the benefits of artificial intelligence and behavioral analytics? And then in the end, we're also going to take a quick look at our Avira B2B portfolio. As you've probably already heard or seen, there have been some changes over the last couple of months, and this is where we would like to show you how we are actually supporting you in providing your customers with holistic IT security approaches. So for quite some time, especially small and medium-sized enterprises neglected the topic of IT security, which was often also due to missing know-how in this area. And even today, IT security is still a quite difficult topic for many SMEs, especially due to the rapid changes in this area and also the constant need for staying up to date, for optimizing provisions and measures and so on. So today, independent of size, location or branch, any company worldwide is at risk of being attacked, and therefore it's also a little surprising that a recent McKinsey study found out risk managers assess cyber attacks as the biggest threat to their business continuity. So as you can see here, current statistics regarding company expenses for IT security in Germany also show that not only is this topic taken more seriously by IT managers, but also the willingness and readiness to react appropriately has changed. And therefore, you can see that the expenses for IT security software in 2017 have increased fivefold to the economic growth in Germany. And the same is valid for IT security services and hardware. So this already shows that there actually is an increasing willingness to really take actions and to implement some measures. So I would like to just quickly ask you a question regarding this study, because it would be quite interesting for us to also get some insight into how this is actually represented in our participant base here today. So how much did you spend on your company's IT security compared to the previous year? This would be quite interesting just to get some insight into how you actually handle this topic. I'm going to give you some more seconds to answer the question. Okay, so basically actually the most of you have had no changes with regards to the investments in their own company's IT security. So a reason that actually might be behind that is that you as kind of experts in this area have already taken investments over the last couple of years, right? So this might be one reason why actually this study is not really valid for you as our participants here today. So, however, these significant increases in IT security investments are also confronted by a continuing increase in malware developments, as we all know. So, as you can see here, until now in 2018, 800 million malicious programs and PUA, potentially unwanted applications, have been registered. And that already shows that cyber attacks are really spreading at an immense pace to any company all over the world. And the investments companies are taking into IT security are especially needed given the huge increase in absolutely new malicious programs and PUA. So as you can see here, an immense number of 350 new malicious programs and PUA are registered by the independent test organization Avira on a daily basis. So I would say that now it's time to dive a little deeper and look into the trends on the malware market regarding the different types and threats that customers actually have to cope with. So Michael, this is where I would like to hand over to you now so that you can give us some insights.
Thank you very much, Katharina. All right, so let's have a look first on new trends in the malware market and in the threats that we also at Avira see in the market currently, as there are some which are particularly dangerous for you, or maybe let's say more dangerous than others. And we also see some new trends in terms of threats that we see at the market currently. But therefore, let's have a look first on the terminology. What we're talking about is malware. Malware is what we call all the threats, all these Trojans, spyware, PUA, all these threats in general. Malware is just portmanteau for malicious and software, so it's kind of a mixture, and that defines the terminology malware. So when talking about threats in general, many people are used to talking about Trojans and virus. We usually use the term malware here. So what is it after? A malware is defined as a malicious intent and acting against the requirements of the computer's user. Very interesting in terms of what is it after is one thing that there is nowadays even more than just the malware itself that actually fulfills this intent. One more thing is false positives, because talking about false positives is nowadays also very important, as false positives also block you from using your applications, from doing your daily job with the PC or with your device. So what we also use as Avira is a false positive prevention, FPPTL as it is called in the full technical naming, and that's a technology to prevent your PC and the antivirus product from us installed on your PC from showing a false positive, which means by from detecting a safe application as potentially malicious. That's what we want to block with our false positive prevention as well. So talking about malware, it's just not malware, but there are some other things as well which require, which will fulfill this requirement here. Nevertheless, let's focus on the malware market currently, because the threat is the external threat here. So one big thing that we experienced in the last couple of years is the ransomware topic. Ransomware is nowadays in all the media, all the newspapers. It's just a big thing that came up in the last couple of years. It all started with known ransomware types such as Rocky, WannaCry, etc. For example, a WannaCry attacks led to a loss of in total $4 billion US, according to Cisco. So that is quite a big impact on the market that this particular threat has. Now, what is ransomware? Ransomware is usually defined as different types of threats that block you from using your devices. One thing, and probably the threat that is feared the most, are crypto ransomwares, as the name already says, encrypt files. One important thing here is that users usually don't have the private key that is required to decrypt the encrypted files, and of course they have to pay some money via PaySafeCard or other bank transaction options to those malware writers in order to get the private key and be able to decrypt the files that were encrypted. Problem is, from a technical point of view, it's almost impossible to decrypt those files in a reasonable time and for the reasonable costs. That's why many people or many victims actually pay that money. And the second problem with that crypto ransomware is that it almost now, I would say very often affects critical infrastructures such as hospitals, etc. So hospitals usually, as you might imagine, they can't afford to be out of business for a day or for 2 days, as they need all these information from their patients, etc. So it's just highly critical for these infrastructures, and therefore they usually pay quite early or quite quickly. So therefore ransomware is quite a lucrative business for the malware writers, and therefore is spreading all around the market, even bigger nowadays. Other things that work out with ransomware are screen locking ransomware, for example, to just lock the home screen, which is quite an old thing, but that's something you can actually fix. The encryption is a little bit more tricky. Anyways, in the end, it's about payment. You can use, as mentioned, PaySafeCard, whatever banking interaction options there are, but very often nowadays we also use cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. What's the advantage of Bitcoin? Bitcoin is more anonymous for the malware writers itself. It is a little bit more hassle for the victim actually, but it's more convenient for the malware writers. On the other hand, other banking transaction options such as debit card, etc., might be more convenient for the victim, but they also have a quite big risk, because you actually expose more personal information about your bank account, etc., to the malware author, which is or malware writer, which is also not desired. So that is why many of them use cryptocurrencies to get that ransom. So ransomware, a very big topic. We released a new technology called Advanced Ransomware Protection with our antivirus version 15 in fall this year. So we are prepared pretty well to make sure our customers are not getting affected by ransomware, but Katrina is talking a little bit more about that later on. Nevertheless, let's get to a quick question for you guys, just because that is also interesting for us to know. The question is, ransomware attacks constitute a severe threat to my customers. What do you think? What is your opinion on that? Either yes, no, or I don't know. Your opinion is highly appreciated. Let's wait a couple of more seconds. First results are coming in as far as I can see it. What is your opinion on that? Okay, 50% of the audience gave the vote. Let's wait a few more seconds. Okay, all right, thanks for voting in this particular survey. Let's close that one real quick. And we have quite a clear result. Actually, no one says no, but we have 86% saying yes and around about 14% who say I don't know. So we see, and that's what we also expected, that ransomware is quite a big threat to your customer base. That's why we also take a big focus on this particular threats nowadays. One new part of ransomware and one new threat that came out recently, and which is some kind of ransomware, is well, it's not really ransomware, but something that came out new recently, which I already talked about a couple of minutes ago when talking about cryptocurrencies, is so-called crypto miner. That is also a new trend that we saw on the market. Crypto miners, or also called coin miners, silent applications running in the background and are mining cryptocurrencies. Obviously, that doesn't work for all the currencies, cryptocurrencies in the market, as there are some currencies which you can't mine, like IOTA, for example, but the classic Bitcoin, as for example, can be mined. And as long as the price for several cryptocurrencies is still quite high, there is a good reason to mine them. The problem is, in order to get Bitcoins, for example, let's stick to the Bitcoin thing here. In order to get Bitcoins, you have to fulfill some mathematical calculation process on a PC, for example, and that needs resources. That needs, how to say, yeah, I would call them, I'm missing that. Don't have the word in mind right now. But memory resources, that's the word I was missing. So memory resources, so you would need lots of memory in order to process those mathematical calculations. And obviously, therefore, we have lots of mining, farming facilities in China, for example, also in Iceland, who are mining, or which are mining Bitcoins. The negative part of that is you have quite a big starting investment in GPUs, in electricity, in infrastructure, etc. So that is quite a big investment you have to do in order to mine those Bitcoins. And therefore, these smart malware writers came to the idea, let's create something like a crypto miner, which is an application running on the infected machine. So maybe it runs on the machine you're looking at right now in background and is mining Bitcoins, for example. The problem with crypto miners is that it always stays undetected. That's the negative side effect of crypto miners. It's really hard to detect them, as they don't block anything, they don't encrypt anything. Your PC, your system just behaves like every other single day, and you think everything's fine, but actually maybe 10-15% of your memory capacity is being used in background to mine those bitcoins. So there is quite a big problem for you in terms of resources, as you lose those resources which are used by those crypto miners. And second, it's just bad because additional malware code can be downloaded in background automatically, and a crypto miner might behave differently after a certain period of time. So that threat might change and become something else after a certain period of time. And the next big problem having a crypto miner on your system is that there is certainly somewhere a vulnerability, so there must be some kind of leakage on your system in order to get that crypto miner from some source. All right, so that's what we see. You can see the graphic on the bottom side of this slide over here. So the numbers of crypto miners is pretty much exploding since 2017. It started all with the high courses of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple, etc. So when the cryptocurrencies went up with the pricing, also that business got pretty lucrative and pretty interesting for the malware writers. What else do we see on the market besides crypto miners? We also see PUA, which we call potentially unwanted applications. Potentially unwanted applications are unwanted applications that are downloaded alongside to applications that you actually want to have. So let's make an example. You want some kind of video editing tool, a video editing application you download from some sort of website where there are many applications free for download, and as part of the installing process you get some kind of toolbar, additional application which offers some video games, whatever. This is what we call unwanted applications. It's just being downloaded as part of a normal shopping process, and PUA is extremely irritating. It's additional software you don't want to have. It's installed automatically, and it usually monetizes by showing advertisement to you. In the very end, it's not very critical, to be honest, because it's not classic malware which blocks you from using the applications you want to use, but it's pretty much annoying, I would say. It uses some resources which are absolutely not needed, and it also monetizes pretty good for the malware writers, who can then therefore develop further threats which might not be that nice, I would say. So PUA, we've seen a big trend in the last couple of years, also increasing tremendously. And then there's also one more thing that we saw nowadays is getting more interesting, and therefore I would like to ask a short question to you guys. First, short question is, what is Mirai? Mirai stands for number one, an IoT botnet, number two, a crypto miner, or number three, a PUA. What do you think is Mirai? We're not giving you that much time right now because we don't want you guys Google the solution. So we give you like 5 more seconds, and then you should have answered. Okay. There you go. Thanks for voting. Oh, the numbers changed, but now it's pretty much same, actually. We have 57% IoT botnet and 43% crypto miner, and no one says it's a PUA, which is correct. So it is an IoT botnet. We had a few partners, few people in the audience who were really fast. It took them hardly a second to have the right answer here in place. So in this case, the information goes to all the others. So talking about botnets. And what are botnets? To define that term upfront. A botnet is a connected network of computers that communicates or that communicate together in order to accomplish certain tasks. So botnets always work with a command and control center or server, and this particular command and control server is controlling all the clients, and having those PCs, those clients under control allows a hacker to do several different things. So the most common one is sending out spam, and the second one is carrying out DDoS attacks. DDoS attacks, for everyone who doesn't know that term yet, in terms of websites, for example, a denial of service can be triggered by just raising hundreds of thousands of requests to that particular website, which will definitely cause the server to crash. Therefore, the website can't be reached anymore, and business stops for that particular company. So that is what a botnet is being used for. Avira itself, so the colleagues from our Avira lab are also part of or have several machines being part of botnets. So we know that we are part of botnets for several machines we have here in place, but we do this on purpose. We want to be part of botnets because we are the ones listening. So certainly there are many devices from our end as well who are in the botnets and listening to what the malware writers are doing, because that's also an interesting thing in order to make the PC protection and antivirus product better and better. Mirai, for example, now is an IoT botnet which costs roughly 110 million in potential revenue loss due to the attack. And that's when we're talking about the new problem and the revenue trend in the market, talking about IoT. IoT botnet is a botnet with IoT devices. And talking about IoT, we also talk about the cyber spy in your home. So, for example, we had a case where we checked with our new technology called Avira Safe Things on a smart TV and checked what is actually happening with those IoT devices nowadays. In this particular case, we've seen that the smart TV we observed had 3 vulnerable ports that were exposed to the internet. It was also scanning the entire home network for other devices. Had plenty of text pages which were sent to external sites on apps. We had information on servers which was sent to 13 different other servers, many of them unknown, and in the end we had many of the services receiving information which were not enabled or even there was no user account registered for them. So in the end, lots of things a simple TV can do nowadays. And talking about safe things and also about IoT, we see that many companies, many home users are using IoT devices nowadays. That might be the vacuum cleaner which is in a hotel and running there, which is running in offices nowadays. It might also be the lighting system in any modern office complex. It might be the smart TV for the people at home. It might be the fridge for every home user who is nowadays connected, etc. So we have more and more IoT devices, and we currently see that there is almost no protection which is affordable for these devices yet. Therefore, we developed the technology called Avira Safe Things to make sure we not only monitor what's going on with all the IoT devices, but to also prevent them from doing this. Avira Safe Things is brand new. We will release more and more things for Avira Safe Things in Q4 this year, so stay tuned on that, as we are excited to push some very interesting products onto the market. The fact that this is being done also shows the graphic on top, or the information on top. I missed it at the beginning. So we see that the market for smart TVs has grown tremendously and will grow tremendously in the next 9 years. And the same thing is being observed for every other IoT device. Okay, talking about IoT in your home network, what is the tricky part about that currently? The tricky part is that we're talking about vulnerabilities here. We have currently more than 106,000 vulnerabilities that are reported, and 14% out of them are rated with the highest score nowadays. And the fun part of it is that pretty much every operating system is affected on that. So just have a look on the top 10 list in 2017. It is absolutely ridiculous still nowadays. So what we need in order to close those vulnerabilities, not only for IoT but also for operating systems that exist for many, many years, even Windows 10, as we can see. So even the modern operating systems are affected. The thing that we have to do is patching. So patching is very important, and also a good vulnerability management is important. Why? First of all, we have to recognize the vulnerabilities that we have within our company infrastructure. So figuring out where are my vulnerabilities is the first thing. That's why we need a vulnerability management. And the second thing is to find the right solution for those vulnerabilities. And then we're talking about patching. Later on, as part of this webinar, we will talk about our partnerships and how to make sure that we offer the right solutions available. In terms of patching, which would be the solution, I also have a question for you guys. The question is, how do you approach a topic vulnerability management in your company? And the answers might be: one, we observe the availability of new patches and deploy them ad hoc. Second, we use a solution for automated vulnerability and patch management. If you do none of them, which I personally absolutely do not recommend, please send us a short question into the questions box. Okay, so the first results are coming in, giving you a couple of more seconds time to give us your voting here. We currently have 62% of all participants given their vote. I think we can do a little bit better than that. Okay, now see it's still growing, All right, I think we're good. Thank you very much for giving your vote. We see 44% saying number 1 and 56% saying number 2. So I would say that's almost 50-50. Now talking about, or I'm talking to all of you who actually gave their vote for number 1, that is certainly something you don't have to do anymore. Now we'll shortly explain what can be done in order to do this automated later. But the automated approach is certainly the thing you should go for, simply because it saves a lot of time, it saves a lot of money, and is way faster than observing the vulnerabilities and the availability of new patches manually. Okay, but thanks for giving that feedback. I see there's still some potential here. All right, now talking about the last slide of my presentation to come to a very short summary, and you pretty much can see the graphics here on the right hand side already. We see 3 major issues currently. One thing, or 3 major trends in the future. One thing, Internet of Things, IoT. There's currently almost no security solution available which is affordable, I would say. Second, multiple security gaps, especially for low budget devices. And attackers are already probing the market. And the fun part is IoT devices are also so cheap to make usually. Like, for example, you can buy GPS car trackers nowadays, which is a simple little tiny connected device. You can buy them for a couple of dollars nowadays online. And the major threat here is also that no one nowadays knows who is actually manufacturing these, right? So if they are made somewhere in Asia, you can't be sure if it's not the malware writer or some kind of attacker who is building them and already putting some bad code in it. And we've seen that already 6 years ago that something like this was done. So certainly that is very, very critical nowadays. Second, crypto miners, very lucrative compared to spam, spyware, and ransomware. as they're running absolutely in background. No one knows that they exist. That's why we want to make sure that you as a partner and customer don't have to deal with this type of threat. And it's already today a predominant malware type. And the very last one, security gaps for third-party providers. We have many vulnerabilities. Patch management is nowadays a very, very big topic. So stay tuned on what we can offer here for you. That being said, I'm pretty much done from my part. Last question for you guys, and with this I'm heading over to Katerina, is on how you guys or how think Avira does detect malware. You can select multiple answers as part of this short survey and be curious on your answers. And I'm giving back to you, Katerina.
Okay, thank you, Michael, for these very nice and interesting insights. So as we've now heard a lot about the kind of threats that your customers actually have to cope with, let's now take a look at what we as Avira do to really support you and your customers, that you're not chasing behind the bats, but are actually prepared for what's waiting for you there on the malware market. So I can see that almost 50% have voted for this small poll, so maybe we can get some more participants on that. Yes, we already have. So actually, most of you believe that we use artificial intelligence, machine learning, and also behavioral analytics in order to detect malware. However, only a third of you believes that we use multiple scan engines to detect malware. So let's now take a look at what we really do in our antivirus product. So in order to really provide you an overview about how our antivirus product works, I would like to quickly illustrate to you the process that a file can go through if Avira antivirus is installed on the device. So the first step consists of a local signature-based scan on the endpoint itself. So this is where we compare the signature of the file with signatures of malware we have already identified to see whether there are any similarities. In addition to that, the signature as well as additional characteristics could also be uploaded to our Avira Protection Cloud in this step already, and this is the case if the result of the local scan was not clear in terms of whether this is malware or not. So the additional scan in the Avira Protection Cloud is then way more comprehensive, and the user benefits from this taking place in the cloud as compared to locally on the device, as it does not reduce the system performance. And this is very important for us here at Avira, as we really want to make sure our users do not experience a conflict between efficiency and IT security, but they are in fact able to really reach both at the same time. So in this additional scan, we then not only use a larger signature database, but also heuristics in order to enable a very fast reaction here at this point. In our Avira Protection Cloud, we also use swarm intelligence of all online endpoints where Avira is installed, meaning that your scans are always based on the most current data and the customer protection is always up to date. Besides that, obviously, your customers also benefit from the scan taking place in the cloud rather than locally due to the so-called black box environment. So in contrast to the database for local scans, the data behind cloud scans is not accessible to malware developers. And therefore, this makes it way more challenging for malware authors to modify the files in a way that it cannot be identified by the scan engine. And this is one step how we can actually provide your customers with long-term protection. Okay, in the second step, the entire file is then uploaded to our Avira Protection Cloud, and in this step we use artificial intelligence, machine learning, in order to analyze the file in more depth. And as you probably know, Avira has recognized the value of artificial intelligence for virus detection and invested in this technology very early, and this is why today we are using the industry's only third generation machine learning platform, which our customers then benefit from through exceptionally high detection as well as low false positive rates, especially for zero-day threats. And with our machine learning platform, which is called Night Vision, we analyze files using algorithms and also compare them against more than 8,000 attributes. Depending on how the file is actually structured, the visible characteristics, properties, and so on, different approaches are used, such as, for example, logistic regression or random forest. And using machine learning to analyze a file provides significant advantages to our customers, as algorithms are learned on an automated basis and therefore also optimized constantly. This then enables us to really significantly speed up the reaction time while still keeping very, very exceptionally high detection rates. Night Vision also constantly receives new data on current threats as well as also clean applications, obviously, from our virus labs, and this way the algorithms are optimized constantly and at an immense pace. So the third step then consists of a deep behavioral analysis, and in this step, this step is especially relevant given the fact that today malware developers can actually modify a file in a way that the maliciousness of the file cannot be identified based on the visible characteristics itself. So this is, for example, the case if some codes and strings that enable us to identify the maliciousness change during the process of file execution. So these codes and strings that lead us to the assumptions or the assumption that the file is malicious are only visible at a certain point of the execution. So in this step, we use a combination of sandboxing approaches in order to investigate in the behavior, the communication patterns of the file, as well as the changes that this file makes to the system. And how does this work? What we basically do is that we execute the file in a secure virtual sandboxing environment, and this way we are able to also get required insights into the hidden but critical parts of the code that are only visible at a special point of the execution. So the behavior, communication patterns, and so on of the file are then also summarized in protocols, and these protocols are then used for the further optimization of algorithms. So this way we want to prevent our platform Night Vision from learning false algorithms due to a lack of data, due to these changes in codes and strings of the file. So this combination of multiple scan engines, cloud technologies, artificial intelligence makes our technology one of the best in class, which is also proven by partnerships with numerous industry experts. Most of these experts that you can see here have implemented our technology somewhere in their solution and therefore also trust Avira in a way that they want to protect or they want their customers to be protected through this technology as well. So this innovativeness, technology strength, and as you know, more than 30 years of experience for software made in Germany makes our antivirus product one of the best in industry. And as Michael already mentioned before, one recently optimized feature we would like to highlight here for you, our partners, is the optimized ransomware protection, which is included in our current product version 15, as of September this year. So what this is basically all about, we have optimized the ransomware protection in a way that today, for example, you can trigger additional cloud scans can be triggered, and also suspicious registry changes can be blocked. As mentioned, this new optimized feature is only integrated in the current product version 15. It will not be part of the products and bundles of version 14, which you can see on the left-hand side on this slide. So please also keep that in mind, also in light with your answers that you've given before regarding the importance of ransomware protection for your customers. And I would also like to quickly highlight the fact that version 14 will be end of life end of next year. You probably already heard about that, but just to make sure that you have this on your list actually. So basically this is one more reason why it actually really makes sense for your customers to switch to the new product version 15 now, and to also benefit from this new optimized feature. So just a quick note on this. In case you have existing licenses with some customers for version 14 who would like to change to the current product version 15, this is obviously also possible. So you can just do that online via PartnerNet, or just get in touch with your personal sales manager here at Avira, and we will then be able to also add the remaining license period to the new offer. Okay, so the detection of malware, the blocking, and potentially also the repairing of infected systems is obviously a very important need of your customers. However, at the same time, there are additional measures that need to be taken by them in order to secure their IT effectively. So in addition to an effective reaction to threats, especially in today's rapidly changing threat environment, prevention is highly important. And this requires companies to really have an overview about their IT landscape, and subsequently also insights into potential points of attacks. And this is also where we support you and your customers. So as you've probably heard or seen, we have entered partnerships with industry experts over the last couple of months. And now today, together with our experts, with our partner who are the experts in the area of management solutions, we can now provide you and your customers with not only the highest possible quality of antivirus products, but also the best in industry management solutions. Regarding the way that you and your customers actually get access to this bundle, the antivirus combined with management solution, nothing has really changed about that. So you and your customers still get this bundle here at Avira out of one hand. Nothing has really changed about that. However, your customers have very nice advantages with our new product portfolio, which you can see here on this slide. So as you've probably already heard, your customers now have the opportunity to also use some additional features included in these management solutions for free, which were not included in the AMC, the former management solution from Avira. For example, an entire inventory management can be used by your customers for free. In addition to that, as you can see here, we have now established a portfolio of different management solutions, which all have a unique focus, and based on this portfolio, you and your customers now have the opportunity to really find the solution that perfectly fits to their needs, perfectly fits to your customer structure's needs, and you don't have to go for a standardized solution that somehow has to fit all of your customers, but you can really think about how to tailor this to your customers' needs. So as you can see here, we have two on-premise solutions, or two partners that are offering on-premise solutions. First Argon and second EgoSecure. So Argon has its focus on the topic of IT automation. That is what Argon has around 25 years of experience in. They have optimized their functions regarding the topic of IT automation and are really strong in functions such as patch management, update management, vulnerability management. So if that is your customer's focus, Argon would be a very good partner for that. EgoSecure, another on-premise console, focuses on the topic of IT security. This is where they provide a lot of optimized functions in this area, for example, regarding encryption, decryption, also regarding the topic of how to really effectively deal with external storage media, and also in light with all the challenges regarding the GDPR conformity, EgoSecure offers a lot of functions that help your customers to automate some processes in order to be GDPR conform. So if you have some customers that are really looking for something or for some solution supporting them in implementing processes for GDPR conformity, EgoSecure would be the perfect solution. One more partner that we have is Riverbird. Riverbird offers an on-premise solution. However, what is really special about this solution is that it can actually be hosted in your network and then communicate to some clients of your customers. So Riverbird was actually born in a system house environment, and this is why this console is a really nice tool enabling you to enter the MSP market, the managed service provider market. So Riverbird offers a lot of functions to enable you to offer services to your customer in order to manage their IT and help you to enter this market in a very easy way. Another solution of an US American software provider is Nanoheal. Nanoheal is really famous for some functions regarding remote service desk management, and Nanoheal basically offers a cloud solution which can, however, be used using a gateway model or implemented using a gateway model, which just works the following way. So what you basically do is you define one gateway which then communicates with the Nanoheal cloud, and all your other clients do not communicate to the cloud. So this is how you can actually also enable the communication with offline clients, for example. A function that Nanoheal is really famous for would be AutoHeal. So for this function, you would, for example, define some specific values for your clients, and whenever some issues are coming up where you have set some specific values, automated processes could be implemented. So in this case, you could prevent some issues coming up on your clients, and therefore also reduce your help desk management work. Another solution is currently in the phase of being launched quite soon. O&O Software is a new partner that or whose solution will be launched together with Avira in mid of November. So O&O software offers a very basic, a very intuitive cloud solution, which is called Suspector. So this cloud solution is very, very easy to use. It's especially suitable for very small environments. So if you have a lot of customers with, let's say, 5 to 10 clients, and you're looking for a solution that you don't really have to explain to your customers, but your customers will just open it, look at the dashboard, and know what to do right away, then O&O software is probably the right one to go for. So what I would like to do now is to ask you another question regarding these management solutions that you've just seen on the previous slide. So in addition to the Avira Antivirus, do you currently offer your customers any of the following management solutions? This is just for us to get some insight into whether you have already chosen one of these management solutions or whether there's anything that or any support that you still need on this decision. I'm going to give you some more seconds as we haven't had a lot of participants here actually. So we'd be very happy if we could get your response on that.
Maybe as short information also from my end. If you hadn't had a chance to test those management consoles yet, feel free to test them. You can actually make an evaluation of every single management console. If that is too much work for you, or you don't want to do that because you don't have the time for that maybe, and we also offer several marketing documents which you can get at your channel sales manager for each of those solutions. So we have plenty of documents, quick documents, so they're not like 50 pages, really simple documents who show how the console looks like, how it works, what it does, and we also have plenty of videos available, webinar recordings with those partners in which they explain their management solution, how it is installed, how it works, what it does, and what the benefits are. So feel free to contact your channel sales manager anytime and offer these solutions to your customers. We have all the documents and information in place, so please don't hesitate to contact us on that.
Okay, thank you, Michael. So as we've had some participants that are currently not offering any of the management solutions to their customers, it would actually be very, very interesting for us to get some insight into why this is actually the case, in order to also be able to get an understanding for your decisions. So it would be great if you could also quickly participate into this survey so we can get an understanding on whether we can optimize here and how. Okay, so we had half of our participants voting here. Maybe we can get some more before we go on.
While we're waiting, also one more information on my end on this. Pretty much for all the answers that you can give here, please contact your channel sales manager. If the decision is planned but pending, definitely we can help you out in the planning process and making sure you take the time nowadays to get the right decision done and to get everything set up and having everything in place upfront. If you need more information, as mentioned previously, please feel free to contact us any which ways. And the last point, which we hope doesn't apply to you, if you are not satisfied with any of the solutions or offer, although you have tested this, please feel free to contact us. We are in very close contact with the partners, with the console vendors and management tools, and we always want to make sure that they fulfill the requirements. But the worst thing we can do, or that might happen, is that you test it, you're not satisfied because there's something missing or something you don't like, and we don't know about that. That is certainly something we want to avoid. So in case there's something that does not work, please send an email to your channel sales manager, and we will take care of that. Thanks.
Okay, once again, once again, thank you, Michael. So one more question that would be quite interesting for us, and this is also my last question for today, is whether you are already acting as a managed service provider for your customers, and if not, if you would be interested in that, as we have one solution at hand, as we've already shown you before, which is from our partner Riverbird, that is basically the perfect solution to enter this managed service provider market. And we also see this as a huge opportunity for you as our partners to also get some really, really close contact to your customers, to always be involved into their processes, and very interesting to also kind of selling them the service of their IT being effective, in contrast to being there when there are any issues. So this would be very interesting for us to see whether you are actually interested in this model.
Just to mention one quick advantage for that, just imagine you don't have to purchase Avira licenses for your customers anymore. There's no need of making upgrades anymore. You have one license, you manage all your partners which might manage their customers in the very end, or you as a partner, you directly manage your customers with one solution, for example, and you get a monthly payment from those guys, and it doesn't really matter whether they add a new device or get rid of 2 devices, because everything is pretty flexible and you get paid monthly on the devices which he is using, which makes it very easier to manage the client's devices. So therefore it is very easier for you guys to offer additional services, not talking about antivirus management as such, but also talking about basic things nowadays, such as in software and hardware inventory management, which is nowadays really important, talking about software deployment, client management in general, and also combining those additional modules which definitely offer a good upsell opportunity, such as patch management or vulnerability management. So in the end, acting as an MSP is a very, very good solution to gain new customers, offering more services, and making it very easier for the customers as well.
Okay, so again, thank you, Michael. So I've just shared the results with you. As you can see, basically no one of you says that it wouldn't be interesting for them to enter this market, and a couple of you are actually already active in this market. So thank you very much for participating in this poll. This is very interesting for us, as we are currently also working on how we can provide you with this opportunity more proactively. So we'll always keep you updated about this progress. And I think this offers, as Michael already mentioned, a huge of potential for our customers, for our partners as well. So this is where we are now, already at the end of the webinar, almost on time. So thank you very much to everyone for participating in this webinar. I hope that we have actually met your expectations, that we provided you with the information that you were looking for, and yeah, that you enjoyed this session. Also, we would be very happy if you could participate in our survey, which will start just after this session, in order to also get some insights, whether there's any feedback from your side that yeah, you would like to share with us to also be able to always optimize these webinars. Okay, so let's just quickly wait a couple of seconds to see if there are questions coming in. I can see one question that someone or a participant would like to have the presentation be sent to him. So just as a quick information, this session is recorded, and we are very happy to provide you with the link in order for you to be able to review this session afterwards. So just send an email to your personal contact here at Avira, to your channel sales manager, and they will be very happy to provide you with the link, as well as any additional information that you're requesting. That would be great. Just send an email to your contact person and they will provide you with any information. Okay, so I haven't seen any new question coming up so far, so probably we are fine with everything. If there are any additional questions coming up, just let us know, and we'll be very happy to help you out. As Michael mentioned before, if there are any questions regarding the consoles we've shown you, if you require any additional information, please don't hesitate to contact your channel sales manager here at Avira, and we will be very happy to consult you on an individual basis as well. So once again, thank you very much for participating in the webinar, for taking this opportunity. We are looking forward to see you in future webinars. For example, there will be a webinar regarding the launch of our new the new management console from our partner O&O. So you will receive an invitation to this webinar during the next couple of weeks, so we'd be very happy to have you there as well, and yeah, also for other future webinars. So thank you very much, have a good rest of the day, and see you next time.
Thank you everybody, and have a good day ahead. Bye bye.